We believe St. Lucia can win the war against the coronavirus, and here's how. Every community in St. Lucia must mobilize, coordinate, monitor and support residents the way we would before, during and after a natural disaster. Identify volunteers in your community, assign them roles and deploy them. Ensure your elderly and vulnerable understand all protocols. Help relatives, shield them from unnecessary contact with others. Identify those recently unemployed and vulnerable neighbors living alone. Put systems in place to filter updates from official sources throughout your community. Promote the hotline number 311. If it takes a village to raise a child, then all of us can come together to defend the village against the coronavirus. Let's do it.
Together let us win this war. St. Lucia be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
Good evening, St. Lucia. And you know, sometimes I just can't hold it when I come on. so I have to smile, right? Give you that smile, that welcome, you know. Welcome. Good evening again to Saturday Sports Night on UTV 124, Facebook, UTV 124. And of course, telephone numbers 572-7588 or 484-7588. I simply hope each and every one of you had a wonderful week despite the various challenges. And rest assured, the next hour is going to be fabulous. I have no inside guests or in-studio guests. But we will be talking strictly cricket this evening. So it's T10 and T20 this evening, no test match. So I want to kick off this evening's show. I'm your presenter, by the way, Anthony De Beauville, and I want to kick off this evening's show with good news. And the good news is, I'm going to get in touch now with Xavier James, St. Lucia and Windward Island cricketer, who scored a century today, 125, in the St. Ogis St. Lucia National Cricket Association 50-over tournament, which started this morning. Yes, she's online. Yes. Good evening, Xavier. How are you doing?
Hi.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
On such a wonderful achievement. I was trying to roll back the history of women cricket in St. Lucia and trying to figure whether you're the first on the 15 to score a national century. But I suspect sometime next week I should get more details on that, because you know, history, you have to go down deep into the archives. But again, from each and every one of us at UTV, we want to say congratulations. But let me ask you two questions quickly, because I know you have to go out and celebrate according to your mum.
Yeah.
125 not out, 18 fours and 2 sixes. What was it for you? I mean, was any time during your innings, especially in the 90s, were you nervous?
No, I was nervous for just my 50. Actually, I wasn't. I just wanted to score, and I wasn't really looking forward to hitting centuries. But my focus was just to get the scores. But all I wanted to do is, put runs on the board. And when they only told me I was on 89, and then I got a ball, and then I just hit the 6 and a 4.
Oh, wow.
And I got my century.
That's good. I mean, your last game here, you played again, I think was it Dominica Grenada, and you scored you scored 50, your maiden half century.
53.
And of course, I want St. Lucia to know that Xavier is also the captain of the Windward under-19 cricket team. Unfortunately,
no, the vice captain.
Vice captain, sorry. Unfortunately, nothing happened for last year. So hopefully this year something will happen in terms of Windward cricket and of course West Indies women cricket. I know you play next week against Grosley.
Grosley, yes.
And that's supposed to be a rivalry, not South Castries and Grosley. So I want to wish you the very best in terms of your continuing performance in this tournament. So again, from UTV and all those persons watching UTV this evening, congratulations on what has been your maiden national 100.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, and say goodnight to your grandfather for me.
I will.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
All right. So here you have it. Xavier James, 125 not out. 18 fours and 2 sixes. South Castries, 258 for free. Xavier James 125. Philippa Idovic, 45. And Captain Ashley Edward, 24. Matches continue tomorrow in PI, where Grosley plays Choiseul. All the very best to the ladies. So, like I said this evening, we're not wasting any time. We're playing T10 and T20. Right about now, we're about to get in touch with the president of South Castries Cricket Association, Brian Calix. And of course, Brian is going to discuss. Good evening, Brian.
Yeah, good evening.
I guess you're quite pleased with such a performance from Xavier.
Yes, very pleased. South Castries winning their first match, and none other than one of the emerging players, Xavier James, to be the one leading the charge, taking into consideration that a couple of the senior players were not available today.
So, I know you'll play next week against Grosley, and that should be a very interesting encounter. South Castries is playing Grosley at home.
Well, any match between South Castries and Grosley is always an interesting encounter. And having gotten up the mark with the first win, I'm sure the young ladies will be very much looking forward to this game. And especially that for this game, they know that some of the more senior players are going to come in to augment the team that played today.
Okay, great stuff. But the reason for this evening, having you on, and thanks for accepting the invitation. And even before I go into detail what we going to discuss, I just want St. Lucia to remember Brian Calix. Calix represents St. Lucia from the mid-80s up to until 1996. He captained St. Lucia on the 19 cricket team in 1984 and 1995. He went on to captain the senior men's team in 1995. A right-hand of spin bowler at the sub-regional level, his best bowling figures 4 for 26 against St. Vincent and the Grenadines at Annesville in St. Vincent. A former president of the St. Lucia National Cricket Association and a former operation manager. Again, Brian, I want to say good evening.
Yes, thank you again, Tony, and good evening to your viewers. Certainly good to be on Saturday Sports Night.
Yeah, thank you. But Brian, let me tell you, the good news, last weekend, 3 of your key players, they left Ireland, our shores, and head to London to partake in county or club matches, right? And I need you to tell me how it all happened for these players.
Okay, well,
what the players really?
Let's say it started off with those players representing South Castries in the local league with some distinction. Kessler Charlemagne, as you know, has been one of our up-and-coming youngsters. He has been through the ranks under 15, under 19, and lately senior. He has dominated the bowling department at the national level for the last couple of years. And through another former national and Windward Islands player, Sergio Fede, who is in England, he was able to link up with Kessler Charlemagne. So Charlemagne will be playing for the teams. Will be playing for the Marlow Cricket Club in the Buckinghamshire Division 2, and that's in the Thames Valley Cricket League. Okay. Alex Antoine, well, he's not new to the English scene. Alex Antoine first went a couple of years ago when he played for King's Home, after King's Home at Todd St. Lucia. And he scored a century against them. So they decided to bring him up. And from there, you know, he has been in and out of England. He has also played in Trinidad and Tobago for the Central cricket team in the Trinidad and Tobago Division 1 Premier League. But this year he would be going over to St. Helens Town Cricket Club, and he'll be playing in the Love Lane Liverpool Division 1. And Tonya Simon, another young player who has been dominating the batting not only for the South Castries team, but in the various leagues around the island, and also the national leagues, 50, T20, and even the 2-day competition for the last 3 years. He has been the dominant batsman, and he is going over to the Durham Cricket League, where we're playing for Thornaby Cricket Club. And Alex Antoine has been the one, you know, chiefly responsible for, you know, having him come across.
Okay.
So the 3 players, you know, through their outstanding performances for South Castries, have been able to, you know, make their way to England.
Okay, but as president and coach of South Castries, what are your expectations of the 3 players?
Well, as the three young players have shown even on the local level, you know, they have what it takes. They have been dominating the local scene over the last 3 years. So I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to go over to those leagues and do just the same. Charlemagne has been able to break into the senior national team. Alex Antoine has been in the senior national team before. He's another product of the youth level. Tonya Simon, he has been able to get into the national team for 1 season, and despite the fact that he has been able to dominate, he has since not been able to get back into the team. But based on the performances here locally, I'm confident that they too will give a good account of themselves in the English league.
Okay, this is Kester Charlemagne on screen, Kester Charlemagne. The next person here will be Alex Antoine. And Tonya Simon. So quickly, Brian, let's roll into the T20 Blast, which commences on the 30th. With the second edition of this St. Lucia Cricket Association T20 Blast Cricket, set to bowl off on Friday, 30th April at the Darren Summit Cricket Ground. As defending champions, how much in terms of the loss of these 3 players to the team?
Well, it's definitely a big loss to the team. That's 3 of our dominant players. And to add insult to injury, we are also going to be without Darren Sammy, who was the captain last year, and also another up-and-coming player, Tariq Edward, the off-spinner, who he was one of the top bowlers in the Dream 11 T10 last year. So it's definitely going to be a big blow to South Castries. But don't forget, South Castries are Lions, and Lions are more dangerous when they're back to the wall. So it gives us a chance to showcase some more of our young players. And in this T10, although it's a shortened version of you know, some of the short format, the T20 format, we have no doubt in our mind that some of our new players for this year will, you know, do very well.
You still have the services of Johnson Charles, of course, who are some of the key players, as you mentioned.
Yes, Johnson Charles, the captain for this year, now also our marquee player. You recall that last year, Johnson Charles played 3 of the 6 games, and he was the second highest aggregate scorer of the tournament, hitting a century in the final, coming good when it mattered. And we all know Johnson Charles to be one of the top batters in the region, despite the fact that he has not been able to regain his pick on the West Indies team. But he has had an outstanding season so far. Towards the back end of last season, taking 2 of his teams to championships. So there will be a bit of pressure on him, but we're expecting a good all-round performance to to take us through again this year. We have people like Xavier Gabriel, another veteran, and some of the players to look forward to. Aaron Joseph, our left arm fast bowler, a new player in Romario Simmons, another player to look forward to. We have the veterans, the Johnson's brother in Cameron, Charles, and all around there. So there's still Wade Clovis has also returned. So there is a bit of youth and experience in the team, and we're expecting the team to do well.
Brian, with COVID still a major threat on Ireland, and of course to add insult to injury, we have the ashfall from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and of course the Saharan dust. In terms of training, what is it like now, preparing your actual preparation?
Well, right now we are still finalizing plans for our preparation. As you rightly said, it's not the normal times, so we're hoping to get our practice up and running next week Wednesday. But certainly the COVID and also the eruption of the last Soufrière volcano in St. Vincent certainly hampering our preparation. But we're sure that we're going to get through that. As we say, we're going to be starting up our sessions from next Wednesday. We're hoping that come next Sunday we will be playing a doubleheader down in Vieux-Fort. That's all things being equal.
Okay, Brian, I want to thank you, but before you leave, your final words, 30 seconds.
Well, I think it's good to see cricket being back. Players have been searching for some cricket out there. I just want to ask players, officials, and all those involved, just to be careful, follow the protocols as we go on to prepare for this year's tournament, and just want to wish all the other teams all the best as they try to make sure that the Lions are dethroned.
And of course, this is the South Castries team, and they look all set to defend the 2020 St. Lucia Cricket Association T10 Blast title. Brian, I want to thank you for joining me this evening. It was a pleasure talking to you, and of course, I wish you the very best in terms of your preparation and throughout the tournament coming up.
Yes, thank you very much, Anthony, and all the best as well. If your program, I think you're doing an excellent job.
Thank you very much, and greetings to you and the family.
Thanks.
Okay. That was Brian Calix, President of South Castries Cricket Association, and of course, speaking about St. Lucia Trio in London, and of course, the preparation, or in terms of their preparation for the T10 Blast, which goes off at the Darren Summit Cricket Ground on Friday, 30th April. We will take a break, but when we come back, more cricket, and this time we will be speaking to the first Vice President of the St. Lucia National Cricket Association, Sean Alcindor.
The future of outward performance begins today.
Available at Red Dot in Grosile and Susie's Varieties in Bois de Wange and...
Hey, hello, what's up? It's yours truly, Barry Epp, and when I'm in St. Lucia, the only thing I'm watching is you, TV, on channel 124.
1, 2, 4. All right, I like that. Welcome back. As promised, before the break, we will be talking to the first Vice President of the St. Lucia National Cricket Association, Sean Alcindor. Good evening, Sean. Okay. So it certainly looks like the T10 blast is going to be a blast. that's a nice rhythm, right? Rhyme. T10 blast is going to be a blast, real blast. Yeah. We're just waiting for Sean. Yes. Good evening, Sean.
Good evening, Anthony. How are you doing today?
You tell me.
I cannot tell you. You gotta tell me.
How is Soufriere?
Well, I wouldn't know. I live in Castries.
Oh, okay. All right.
But when I was last there, Soufriere was good.
Okay, good. All right.
All right.
But Sean, good evening. And how are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
And how are you doing?
I'm fine.
I hope you're staying safe.
Yeah, safe. Away from the ash, the dust, COVID, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you for accepting my invitation to just talk for a few minutes on the T10 blast in terms of preparation. And of course, with 14 days to go, in terms of the actual commencement of the second edition. How is plans going on? Of course, the logistics going so far?
Well, everything is already set. We have finalized, in fact, we're currently finalizing all of the aspects associated with the tournament in terms of the live stream, the website, etc. We're currently finalizing all of that. And we've already finalized all of our discussions with Dream 11. This year will be bigger and better, and the cricketers are actually excited about it. This year we'll be featuring 12 teams in the tournament. We have 2 newcomers in Micoud and Vieux Fort South. So cricket is actually coming back to Micoud and Vieux Fort South, which is very exciting for all of us at the Cricket Association.
As you mentioned, 2 new teams. Can you, for my listeners, can you mention the teams actually taking part in the tournament?
The 12 teams taking part in the tournament are defending champions South Castries, Grosley, Babonneau, Central Castries, Monrepo, Mabuya, as I indicated, Micoud, Vieux Fort North, Vieux Fort South, Labrie, Choiseul, and Soufriere.
Great. You mentioned the title sponsors, Dream 11.
Yeah.
Right. Can I ask a question here? What is it they bring into the table this year?
Well, they've increased they've more than doubled their sponsorship this year. So the incentives to the players are much greater. I think the players are getting what, maybe, if I'm not right, I think it's 100% increase in their match stipend.
No, let's get serious. When you tell me 100% increase, you see, I have a problem when you're telling me
you don't need to quote
an increase in salary is 5%, 3%, and 2% over 3 years. So when you tell me 100% increase, exactly what you're telling me, if it's $200 increase or $300 increase, what is it they're getting?
The players will be receiving $100 per match.
Per match, beautiful. That's what I mean. That's what I want to hear. Not only me, but the listeners, my listeners. That's what they want to hear.
Yeah.
So if they were getting
$25 per match, the coach and the manager will be receiving a little bit more, and then the marquee players will be receiving $150 per match. So as I indicated, it's 100% increase over what we were offering last year. So as I indicated, we were able to negotiate double what we were able to get last year. So the entire tournament is being funded totally by Dream 11.
Okay. What can one expect this year Doing that, if the difficulties with COVID and some of the teams, some of them will be, well, commence the training sometime next week. What quality and standard of play that we expect?
The teams have actually been in training for, I think, maybe the last 2 or 3 weeks. I have been posting videos on the St. Lucia Blast Facebook page. Instagram page from training sessions at Mindo Phillip Park. So Central Castries, South Castries, Grizzly, Mabuya, they've all been in training. So Frere has, in spite of the fact that they don't have a field, they've been utilizing the basketball courts at Fort Saint-Jacques for their training. So all of the teams have been in training for at least 2 weeks. One of the exciting things about it is that it's a return to sports for St. Lucians. You must realize that since March of last year, there has been absolutely no sports in St. Lucia. I'm sure you've seen the videos where people have been playing their little small goals football, and the wardens come and pick up their small goals.
Yeah.
So what it is basically is a return to sports. So with that in mind, the Cricket Association has ensured that we get training permission to train for all affiliates who will be participating in the tournament. We've also got permission to train for under 19s, the women, and in fact we did bowl off the women's tournament today. So at the Mindo Phillip Park, you had the developmental 11 team coming up against the South Castries team. South Castries is the defending 50-over champions. The Asinta Ogis tournament was last played in 2018, and it was won by South Castries. And they came out rumbling today. The South Castries Lionesses were able to amass 258 runs for the loss of 4 wickets, with Zeta James playing an unbeaten knock of 125. So, and she also got 3 wickets for only 5 runs in her 5 overs. So Zeta James has shown that she's deserving of being a West Indies under 19 hopeful. So
yes,
she's really knocking on that West Indies door. So we're only hoping for great things for Zeta. To continue with training, the Cricket Association is also going to be kicking off their 15 and under development program next week. There's supposed to be a big one of the clusters doing a big launch on Saturday. That's the Mabuya Valley cluster. So we have 5 clusters. We increased that's an increase of 1 additional cluster. Last time we hosted the program in 2019, we had 4 clusters. This year we added another. So the 5 clusters are Grosile under head coach Dalton Polius and Swillen Williams, as well as the mentor Malika Edwards. In the Valley, we have head coach Clivus Jules, assisted by David Oliver, and the mentor is Hannah Modest. In Viewfort, we have head coach Craig Emmanuel, who's assisted by Audie Alexander, mentor Nicole Senpri. In Choiseul, we have Roylin Cooper, head coach, assisted by Murphy Samuel, and the mentor Aaliyah Alfred. And the final cluster is in Castries, under head coach Eldridge Charles, assisted by Malcolm Matre, and the mentor is Yasmin Setange. So the Cricket Association has been very active, ensuring that cricket training is ongoing, and this T10 tournament is just a return to cricket. But for the males. The women haven't started. The next tournament that we'll be hosting will be the under 19 boys, and later on we intend on hosting more cricket tournaments. So look out for more cricket tournaments starting again in August, September, October, until the end of the year. So there will be we're hoping and praying that the COVID situation settles itself, and then we can ensure that we are able to host as many of our programs as we possibly can. Because one of the things that the lack of sports has caused a lot of people to be depressed. So we're trying to do our part and ease the depression and ease the frustration of a lot of our cricketers by ensuring that we have sports again.
But thank you for that aspect. You just ruled there when you mentioned Zadio. But let me bring you back on track, all right? Because I bring you here this evening to talk T10 Blast, all right? Okay? You like a freight train. You just phew. Nah, relax, okay? But hear that. This year, the tournament, the T10 Blast, will be played behind closed doors like last year.
Yes, it will be played behind closed doors.
At what point, all right, of the tournament, will the SLA, the St. Lucia Cricket Association, open the gates for members of the public to come see some of the action?
I cannot honestly answer that question. A lot of that depends on the Ministry of Health and the CMO's office. So a lot of it depends on the COVID situation, how it develops, and also we still have the restrictions. I believe 25 people is the maximum allowed at a mass crowd event. So a lot of to answer that, a lot of it depends on the CMO's office and local restrictions. However, the matches can be viewed on Calabash TV as well as on the Cricket Association's Facebook pages. The links will be available.
But have you all issued a proposal to the ministry and the CMO in terms of...
We have...
And what was the
we
response?
had to send a proposal to get permission in the first place to host the tournament, as well as all of our COVID-19 protocols. So we did submit a proposal, but as I indicated, that decision of hosting people in the stands, that decision is a decision not of our own making, but that of the CMO's office. So if at some point they figure that things are going well, people are taking their vaccine, the numbers are declining, then they'll make that call that to allow people to come into the stadium. But right now, that decision is not one that we can make. It would be nice if people can come and enjoy the cricket, but we can't make that decision on our own.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. Let's go back to the players and the teams. What is in store? What is in place for the champion team in terms of incentive? The champion team, the second place, third place, and fourth place team. What is in place? What in terms of? Is it medals, trophies, $40,000?
There's medals, there's trophies, there's prize money.
So how much do the champion team will be taking home?
I can't say offhand because I need to take a look at the figures, and I don't have that in front of me right now.
You 14 days before the tournament, and you have no idea how much the winning team taking home?
I don't have the figures in front of me. The affiliates all know what the prize money is because it was discussed ad nauseum with the affiliates, so they all know. But I don't have the figures in front of me. I think it's in the region of about $10,000 for the first place team, but I cannot say offhand because I don't have the figures in front of me.
Okay, next time when I call you on my program, make sure you're well equipped. Eh?
Yes, sir. I will try my best to be as equipped as possible.
I have a listening audience.
Because as I think it's about $10,000, but I don't have the figures in front of me. I think the total prize money would be in the region of $20,000 for all of the prizes.
I know Soufriere is your home team. A while ago you said that you're back in Castries. So which team you believe?
I said I'm back in Castries.
Which team you believe will take home this year's championship?
Well, all of the teams are extremely good. Castries, as you know, is the defending champion. Grosley is an extremely good team, a very young, very gifted group of boys. Central Castries has been working extremely hard. They're putting together a very good team. Mabuya Valley has been working extremely hard with Clivus. Monrepo has shown that they can beat any team on any given day. Soufrière, as you know, has won tournaments in the past, so it can. And Choiseul is the defending SPL champion, so it can go any way. So we just have to go out there, watch the matches, and follow what is going on. But it would be wrong of me to try to surmise a guess as to who is going to be the champion team, because all of the teams are extremely good.
Okay. I just want to thank you, but just before I let you out, I give you 20 seconds just to wrap it up.
Okay, 20 seconds. I can speak for a lot longer than that. I just want to point out that our Sinta-Ugis women's tournament has commenced. South Castries Lionesses roared today, and they were able to beat the developmental team. Tomorrow will be the turn of Grosley and Choiseul in PI. So if anybody in the south is nearby, please come take a look at the ladies. And as I indicated, next weekend we have some additional matches, and next weekend we have some additional matches, and it continues after the Dream 11 tournament ends. But we hope that as many people as possible will come out and witness some of them, witness some of the action. Of course, we want to keep those numbers down. We don't want to get into any problems with the CMO's office. We had 6 COVID wardens at the match today. They rotated throughout the entire day. Okay. So we need to ensure that we follow all the protocols, and we don't do anything that will jeopardize our status. Okay. We want everybody to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. It's Cricket St. Lucia, and you should be able to follow some of the action on either our Facebook or our social Instagram pages. So please like our pages, and then you can get the information.
Okay, Sean.
And we just want to let all cricketers know that there will be a lot more cricket later on down the road,
okay,
including the two-day tournaments as is known.
Okay,
I want to thank you. There's a lot of cricket coming, so don't be despondent. We will do our best to ensure that as many cricketers as possible get the opportunity to play cricket again, and we're doing our best, working out all nicks and scenarios with the CMO's office, and trying our best to ensure that as many people as possible can ease their frustrations and get to play sports some more.
Okay, well said.
Thank you very much, sir.
I want to thank you for joining me this evening.
Not a problem. I will forward you the fixtures so you could share it with your audience, so that everybody knows exactly what day the matches are. It starts April 30th and it ends May 14th. Matches start at 12:30 and 2:30.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Again, thank you for joining me, and of course for sharing some of the SLCA, Central Association plans leading into the T10 Blast and more. I want to wish you a safe evening, and of course a productive week next week. So have a good one.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a wonderful day.
Okay. We will take our second break, but when we come back, we will be talking to the president of the Castries Cricket Association in terms of his plans for cricket for Castries for the next 2 years, 2021 to 2023. I'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning in to your favorite content creator, UTV. To find out more, follow us on our social media platforms: YouTube, UTV124, Facebook, UTV124, Instagram, UTV124, Twitch, UTV124, TikTok, UTV_124, and Flow TV channel 124. Remember, UTV TV for you. UTV.
I know you
got it. If you identify with the most pulsating, the most riveting, the most eye-capturing UTV. To advertise with UTV, dial 484-7588 or 572-7588. For some of the most competitive rates, amazing programming, and bang for your buck. The most popular streaming channel, UTV 124 on Facebook. Get it now. Check us out on Instagram at UTV 124. Email us utvslu@gmail.com. UTV. It's not just for me. It's definitely TV for you.
Oh.
Read it on the beat.
How I make you just a cock it up, back it up, fling it up on me so heaven in your waistline when you make it roll. Girl I road tell me say them a bit too, but none of them no have it like you. When it come to whining skill, girl you know you are the baddest. Them a dancehall queen, but you a dancehall goddess. Them girl I road really need little practice, but everything I need, girl you have it. Cause you's a professional bumper roller, qualified waistline controller. You a bubbling general, them girl they just a bubbling soldier. You's a professional bumper roller, qualified waistline controller. If them girl they a bubbling boss, you a bubbling CEO. Yeah, work 7 days straight feet. Man, I hope and pray feet. And if them
Welcome back. Of course, you heard earlier from Xavier James, maiden national century, 125, 18 fours and 2 sixes. And of course, South Castries won that game. I haven't got the final scores in terms of the St. Lucia Cricket Developmental Team final score, but I guess before I leave, I should have that. You also heard from the president of South Castries and coach, Brian Calix, in terms of their preparation and of course the free persons, the free cricketers who left for England. And a short while ago, you heard from the first vice president of the St. Lucia National Cricket Association, Shonal Sendor, bringing us, updating us on the association T10 Blast scheduled to bowl off at the Darren Summit Cricket Ground on Friday, 30th April. So, like I said this evening, it's strictly cricket. We're hitting for the covers, down to backward square, over cover, mid-off, mid-on. Cricket we're talking tonight. The next person I have here is the president of the Castries Cricket Association. And in fact, he's not even on island. He's only winning Grenada. So you see, we're going places, right? So, my guest, third guest in my final segment is Wayne Ogis. Good evening, Wayne.
Hi, good evening, Mr. De Beauville, and good evening, St. Lucia. Good evening, all listeners.
How is Grenada this evening?
Pretty quiet.
Okay.
Nothing much happening.
Great.
Yeah.
You sound so clear, like you are at the back of me, you know. That's great, man.
It certainly feels that way.
Yeah. I want to say congratulations to you on your re-election for a second term. You're going to serve for the next 2 years, 2021, 2023. And of course, you have Keith Shallery, your vice president.
Yes.
And Kevin Arnold.
Yes. Secretary.
But Kevin played at one time, right?
Yes, he did. He played.
So that's Keegan's brother.
Correct.
Oh, okay,
correct.
beautiful. I just want to get it right. And then Patrick Clark as your treasurer.
Yes, sir.
And assistant secretary treasurer Barry Charles.
Yes.
Then your technical team, Tywin Harris, team manager.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Keith Shallery, head coach.
Yes.
And Jermaine Alexander, fitness trainer.
Correct.
I want to ask you a few questions. I hope you can handle or answer.
I'm sure I will. I'll answer to the best of my ability.
Yeah. But again, I want to thank you for accepting the invitation.
Yes.
I mean, it's been a week now since you were re-elected. And of course, my listeners, and of course, persons inside of Castries, bring me up to speed as to in terms of your vision and what you want to do for Castries cricket for the next 2 years.
Yes. Thank you for that, and thank you for having me on your show. Before I go on, let me just take this time to congratulate Zeta again, because I don't know if you're aware, but Zeta started off with the John Eugene Academy, but for the last year and a half or so, she's been working with us in Central Castries, working right alongside the boys. And what she accomplished today is no surprise to us because we've seen how she's been handling herself. She's a tremendous talent, and we're looking forward to hearing even greater things from her in the future.
Oh, yes. That goes without saying.
Yes. So regarding our plans, to put it up in a nutshell, when you look at cricket, right, or any sport for that matter, as administrators, we need to look at two aspects of the sport. One deals with just running the sport well, so organizing tournaments and making sure that our players can handle the rudiments of the game as it exists now. And the second aspect of it deals with the transformational side. How do you prepare our players for the changes that are expected to take place in a game? And how do we as administrators and the staff of the Castries Cricket Association, how do we now ensure that we build a high-performance team? A high-performance team not only on the field, but also in the boardroom. Because if we are not able to manage ourselves well in the boardroom, right, that's our executive team and the board members, we may not be able to provide the strong leadership that our players are looking for, so they can now go out there on the field to do it. So that comes around looking at our attitude, both on the field and in the boardroom. Knowledge, likewise, in both areas, skills and behaviors. That would help us build a high-performance team. But when you look going down the road, our vision for Castries cricket, we want to see ourselves as a beacon for cricket development. And what Zeta did today, in my view, gives us, even if she doesn't play for Central Castries, but the fact that she trains with us, that is evidence of what we are looking to produce. Yeah?
Yep.
So our vision is a beacon for cricket development. We have established a number of core values, right, which are teamwork, excellence, accountability, respect for each other, honesty and commitment. And that, again, the values are for the board members, for the executive, and for our cricketers. Yeah.
Great.
Now, our fundamental objectives for the 2021-2023 period, and this is where all the excitement comes. We want to implement a modern play and information management system. And you will ask yourself, what is this thing about? Essentially, we want to make our players become more aware of who they are as cricketers. So all the stats will be collated. Every match you play, it will be entered into a central database linked to a scoring system, and all the stats will be collected. We'll look at wagon wheel also, so what areas are you scoring, what are your strengths, and so on. So when the players sit with the coach, they'll be able to go through the statistics. The second part of that information system is collecting all pertinent data on the customer, on the players, the date of birth, the age, the parents, next of kin, and et cetera, right? But also, we'll be collecting fitness data in there. So our players will be subjected to a certain level of fitness, right, regime. So if, say, for example, one of our players gets selected onto Windward Islands team, for example, our program will be such that our fitness program will be at the level of what the Volcanoes will be doing.
Okay.
So when a player from Central Castries gets get selected, onto a Volcano squad, whether it's for training or practice matches, they will not have to go through any elaborate level work to bring them up to fitness. Our program will ensure that they're already at the minimum 40 for the Yo-Yo test that they're looking to build.
Interesting.
We also want... Sorry?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, we're also looking to develop... I mean, if you look at it, our brand as Central Castries is a bit watered down right now. And we want to develop a brand that stakeholders will be motivated to be a part of. We want to work with parents especially. We hardly see parents at the Minderfield Park. Okay, so especially when we launch our youth program, which will be coming up for the next few months, as soon as we can get clearance from the CMO to do so. We'll be working with a number of children from the Marshall community. We have a list of about 15 names already, including names of parents and numbers, which we would have launched earlier last year, but because of COVID, we had to hold back on it. Right? We're going to launch a program with our stakeholders. So our sponsors will be part of it, our parents, the players, the government of St. Lucia, right? And right now I'm going to make an appeal to anyone who have the interest, anyone who wants to serve, anyone who is prepared to volunteer, because we will need help to implement our strategic plan. Because take it from me, it's very bold and it will demand resources, not only financial, but human resources as well. Yeah?
Interestingly, I suspect you had a peep of my notes.
Why would you say?
Because
interested.
Interestingly, Wayne.
Yes.
And I want to flip here. And listen to that.
Sure.
And I was referring to fitness then because that was going to be one of the questions I was going to ask you. And listen to that. Any plans to address value, work ethic, the image of players, what they portray on and off the field, the confidence, the discipline, the fitness level, along with nutrition, and the psychological aspect of it?
Yes, psychological, absolutely.
And you hit the nail on the head. Then you also mentioned the 15 players from Marshall. And my question will have been, all right, you have, tell me, Central Castries, what's your zone in terms of your area? How far wide you go?
I mean, I think we basically cover from Cicero going back into La Clery.
Beautiful.
Maybe parts of Summersdale and so on. I mean, we have a wide area.
So
we cover a wide area.
Interestingly, you mentioned the 15 students or players from Marshall.
From Marshall, yes.
And one of the things I was saying, I'm not a consultant. I've been in sports administration for a long time. I've been there. Right? I've done it. I've mentioned it before. And I'm willing to share that advice with you. In Castries,
Go ahead, sorry.
You have St. Mary's College, Sir Ira Simmons, you have Castries Comprehensive, you have Villebouteille, you have St. Joseph Convent. Then when you look at the primary schools, you have RC, Anglican, Methodist, Mondido, Marshall, Villebouteille, Carmen and Camille Henry, SDA. You now need to work alongside these schools. If you're going to prepare or have a grassroots program, there's something that they call a festival. Like you said, you look for a sponsor and you bring out the talent from the various schools on a particular day. And your coaches select. Let me tell you, you can never ever go wrong with that. But you need to work with the Ministry of Sports and of course the Ministry of Education to go through the schools. But what hurts me now, and I want to call a few teams here for you.
Right.
And you're surprised to know Castries, like you say, a beacon of cricket, Castries was a beacon of cricket, you know. And the reason why I want to go there,
yes,
I want you, and of course my listeners and St. Lucia to know what Castries had in the years gone by, and what Castries is now. And there's room to bring back the glory days of Castries cricket. And hear that. And that's just for the records.
Yes.
Listen to the teams that played in Castries cricket. Aussies, CYO, Cedars, Courtesy Taxi, Goodwill, Lancers, Latak Hotel, Millet, Shamrock, St. Lucia CC, St. Mary's College, New Park, St. Lucia Fire Service, Police, Unique, the Under 19, Castries Under 19, Nostradam, GIS, JQ Charles, Leon Hess Secondary, Cable and Wireless, South Castries, and Paragon. 23 teams played in Castries cricket.
Right.
And on a Wednesday, all right, it used to be a commercial half day. Second division was played in Castries. When I charge you, I wish you all the best.
Yes.
With you and your team to bring back Castries cricket to where it was. And there's something to say. When Windward do well, West Indies do well. When Castries do well, St. Lucia do well. Always remember that. Because I've monitored that psyche. West Indies, Windward. Castries, St. Lucia. I'm not taking nothing away from our districts. But always remember, a lot of cricket was played in Castries.
Yes, and if you, yes, and I take your point, very well made. And in fact, working with the schools is a major part. I was just about to say, maybe we had this conversation even before we came on, because it's interesting that you call out all the clubs there and the schools, in fact, because the schools in the Castries Basin definitely form a major part of our plans going forward. So it's interesting that you brought that up.
But let me ask you, you also mentioned that you will be looking to upgrade facilities.
Correct.
Which facility you looking to upgrade?
Well, we're working with, as we speak right now, we have embarked on a conversation with SSI, the Rotary Club of St. Lucia, regarding renovations to the net facilities at the Mindefille Park. Currently, the net facilities are way below standard. In fact, they can barely, only one section can be used. And we would given the fact that Mindefille Park is used by a lot of cricketers up in the north, including South Castries cricketers. When the national under 19s are preparing, they actually use the facility. They under 15s as well sometimes. And we'd like to see the net facilities be brought up to at least a first-class standard to allow the players to benefit from at least 4 different services. We're looking at preparing at least a grassy surface there, a dust bowl, so to speak, for spinners, a hard concrete one, we had least 2 concrete strips, and a pitch where the ball will, which is fairly hard, where it will bounce quite a bit, but on normal turf. So, I mean, this is really the thinking behind it, where we want to upgrade our facilities and bring it up to at least a first-class level. Because, I mean, let's face it, Tony, if our players see that we are making an effort to give them first-class facilities, that will no doubt, encourage them to put in the extra work.
Yes.
Okay? No doubt encourage them to put in the extra work.
Is Castries cricket financially stable?
I would say yes, from the perspective that we have entered into a contractual arrangement with one sponsor so far, with a commitment of $46,000 over the next 3 years. So that gives us some comfort. That sponsor has also donated a bowling machine to the tune of about the value of about $16,000 again to the Central Castries Cricket Association. But we, of course, based on the programs that we have identified, we have not finalized the budget. The budget should be concluded within the next 2 weeks or so in terms of how much it will cost us to implement our programs. And thereafter, we may go out again to corporate St. Lucia to see to what extent we can get some support to get to fund our programs, because it's extremely important that we fund our programs are funded to ensure that they implemented.
When I suspect you're watching my notes, because one of the questions I had there for you, and listen to the question, but you have already said it. Any plans to purchase bowling machines to complement with the hard work Keith Shallery is currently doing? That was one of my questions, sir.
Yeah, well, we've done so, and we're hoping to acquire a second one over the next 2 years or so.
Good.
And all of that is really to ensure that. And look here, I mean, Keith Shallery, along with Jermaine, they're doing some tremendous work out there. We've launched a high-performance program during COVID because we couldn't play any cricket. We looked for every opportunity we had based on the parameters that were granted to us by the CMO. And we've not formally launched it to the public, but we've launched it internally. We have a high-performance program that's in place right now. And a lot of our players, you will see the benefit of it. We have a number of our boys. First, you had Stephen Natram and Dylan John, who went across to the volcanoes earlier, late last year, along with Akim Ogis as a development player. Earlier, Akim Ogis is now back in Grenada, working with the volcanoes. And we're hoping that through our programs, we'll have a number of other players. I just want to highlight, I mean, I can't mention everybody, but on the youth side, because this is a Youth World Cup that that will be taking place in January, we have the likes of Jidney Lybox, who has developed tremendously. They will be seeing him in the T10 tournament with his both bat and ball. He's a great left-arm, orthodox left-arm spinner, and he's very handy with the bat. In fact, his batting has come on tremendously. We have Keegan Arnold, who will be joining us. He's currently away at the University of the West Indies, but everybody knows Keegan, a left-arm orthodox spinner again, and a very talented, supremely talented right-handed batsman. We have this young player who's come into our ranks also. We have McKenny Clark, right? McKenny is a fast bowler, and McKenny right now is bowling as fast as anyone in St. Lucia. And he's 17. We have Efron Charles as another youth player again, who opened for the Windwards under 15s, and right now his batting is really coming on. So, I mean, I'm extremely excited about our talent. We have a number of other established players like Sanjay Hill. I will not call everybody. Tyler Sukwa and the rest. I mean, Jimmy Morissette. We have a very solid core of players, and we're looking to add. We have Dwight Thomas, who joined our team recently. A great addition to us. He's a tremendously experienced cricketer. So all in all, we just excited about the future, and we want to ensure that our players will be ready for should in case any one of them receive a call by maybe national or regional, they will be ready. Because the program that Mr. Shallery and Jermaine, the program they put out there, it is way up there with anything offered in the region. I can guarantee you that.
Beautiful. But let me ask you, interestingly, you mentioned High Performance Center, or High Performance, right? In terms of
program,
your program. Are there any plans to work alongside your national body, which is the St. Lucia Cricket Association, SSI, and of course the Ministry of Sports, to transform a section of, and I want to use that word, dilapidated Players Pavilion at the Minifule Park and turn it into a high performance center?
Well, that's a very good good question, because it has come up in our board discussions, in our executive meetings, and it is part of, if you notice, well, I didn't get through all of the goals that we have. We have, in collaboration with government of St. Lucia and the private sector, enhance our cricket infrastructure. Now, the cricket infrastructure we're speaking to there will be the nets as well as the players' pavilion, hopefully to transfer it into classrooms, because in Mr. Shalry's discussion and the plans that we have, classroom meetings and discussions where we sit down and discuss strategies and responses and so on to game situations and just enhancing and broadening the depth and breadth of cricket knowledge from our players, it will necessitate sitting down in a classroom setting, and hopefully the players' pavilion can be used for that.
Okay.
Also, if I may add that Patrick Clark has had extensive discussions again with psychologists out of the UK who is volunteering to do work with the team. So the mental side of the game is a big part of what we will be developing. The same way you train your muscles and you fine-tune your skills, you have to do the same thing to your mind to ensure that when you're in game situations, you can respond appropriately. So yes, the players' pavilion section is certainly a part of what we're looking at.
Great, and I simply hope you continue to pursue that initiative, because it will go a long way in enhancing the performances of our players, not only in Castries but St. Lucia on a whole.
Yes.
But let me ask another question.
Sure.
You know, COVID time and business is not what it used to be like 3-4 years ago. It's nice to hear that you've secured a sponsorship of $36,000 over 3 years, but that's only a drop in the bucket. You know,
correct.
It's not even reaching halfway of the bucket. That is a drop in the bucket. By the time you play a tournament, that's it. You know, 3 years. But whoever gave that contribution, we have to be thankful for it, because these kind of contributions don't come that easy. But the question I want to ask,
sure,
any plans to establish a cricket foundation to encourage financial support for initiatives strictly for cricket for Castries?
I would say yes, because we have looked at a number of funding mechanisms. And one of the ones we currently exploring is what is referred to as GoFundMe.
Yeah.
And where we allow people from the diaspora, people from anywhere, persons who are just concerned about cricket, even the number of cricketers, youth and others who pass through who are willing to give back, just give. And again, someone may not be able to contribute $5,000, but if someone gives $10 or $20 or $30, we'd be grateful for it.
Yeah.
And if 100 people give $30, then you have $3,000. You know, so that is definitely a part of it. So our funding strategy, which we will unfold, goes beyond just going out to corporate St. Lucia,
okay,
but also looking at other mechanisms where individuals can contribute, both financially and human resource-wise.
Great.
Because we will need a diverse set of skills, from project management to strategic planning to just a whole people skills and so on, youth, persons with experience working with youth, to help us implement the program.
Great.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier of volunteers, you will need persons to do this and that, not only leave it for the coaches and etc. In terms of officiating, any plans to have qualified umpires within Castries cricket, and of course scorers, and complement coaches with the good work that Kif is doing now?
Yes, well, in fact, part of our strategy as it relates to our human resources right, is to have at least 3. We have Mr. Shal, who's the level 3 coach. We would like to have at least 2 to 3 others over the next 2 years qualified as level 3 coaches. Regarding our scorers, we will be embarking maybe alongside the National Cricket Association to ensure that we have sufficient people trained as scorers, especially the electronic scoring, because that will be a key part of our information management system. So that is critical. So that is something that we will embark on almost immediately. Yeah.
Okay. Better teams, better players. Of course, talking about your 3-man technical team of Tyron, Shalry, and Jermaine.
Yes.
Are you looking at anyone else to work alongside them? Because this, I'm thinking about the gender aspect of it in terms of women coming in.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely.
So will you be looking at women to assist those persons?
Well, we have as objective 4, right, is to launch programs for male and female players. So definitely we will need to secure the services of female coaches to work alongside our male. We have not identified them as yet, and this is why we're making an appeal for anyone who's interested in assisting us, in working alongside us in implementing our program. Feel free to reach out. My number is 285-2550. You could call me anytime, message, and let me know. I received a WhatsApp message from one coach, one person already. I will keep it confidential for now, who has put his hands up to say he wants to work with us alongside our program.
Okay.
So we are extremely thankful for that, and we were making the appeal again for anyone who wants to help us. Please reach out, and we'll be more than happy to engage and to see how best we can move forward together.
Finally, from me, I give you 30 seconds to wind down.
Sure. Well, I wanted to highlight one more thing before I wind down, but if that's the time we permitted, I will wind down within that time.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to I've spent quite a bit of time here in Grenada, observing the Volcanoes training program, and the program that the Grenada government, in collaboration with the Cricket Association, the program that they've launched. And I've looked at it. I've been aware of it for several years. Dominica also has an academy, and when you look at cricket and where it's going, and I just want to take reference and just look at Dalton Police as an example, right? Dalton is, I will not say was, he is a tremendously talented cricketer. But when Dalton lost his contract with the Windward Volcanoes, Dalton had nowhere to go where there is a formal training structure that would have enabled him to regain his place on the Volcanoes team. Now, what I'm speaking of is a national cricket academy, national. And I see it as a necessity at this stage, where government of St. Lucia, along with the private sector and the National Cricket Association, come together in a large public-private sector project, right? If you look at the coaches that are available right now, within the government, on government's payroll, you have Gary Masre, you have Alton Crafton, you have John Eugene, you have Junior D. Rose, who's a level 2, and there are others. These are 4 people who are extremely qualified in their own right. There are 2 level 2 coaches right there and 3 level 3 coaches, right? On the private sector side, I believe we can select 15 young men, maybe between ages of 19 and 27 or 26, to be part of the program. We set values for the program, we set standards, we set behavioral standards, fitness standards, and everything. And if the players are able to sustain what we've set and put in place, then they will remain in the program.
Yeah.
But I am thinking that they should also receive pay, right? So along with the private sector, say for example, if you look at Gavin Seri from Monrepo, who is one of the seriously talented players, who's now out of under 19. What happens to Gavin? Gavin now has to go find a job and to earn a living.
Yeah.
But if we can pay Gavin $1,500 a month, and we say to Gavin, every morning your job is to wake up, get to the Minder Phillip Park from 9 to 3, where we will engage you in classroom and on-field activity to enhance your game and develop the talent that we know you have. Right? And I'm seeing the private sector, the credit unions, the banks, the Macy's, the Sols, the Rubies of this world, all of them, I think we could come together to mobilize and to raise the required capital necessary to make this happen. Because government will not have to put out much money again, because government is already paying the coaches. John Eugene is paid by government, Alton Crafton is paid by government, Gary Mastering is paid by government, Junior Deo is paid by government already. So it's not a case where government will have to find new money to pay them. They've already been paid them. It's just that we will look to utilize them more effectively, right? In a national academy setup, and where we can have a nutritionist, we'll have sports and strength and conditioning coaches, persons like Donald Dave Albert, who's already on government payroll anyway. And I believe that if we are serious about transforming cricket, if we are serious about bringing cricket to a next level beyond what Central Castries and Grosile and the others are doing, then we need to take it to the next level and set up a national academy.
Oh, yes. So,
yeah.
This time I give you 10 seconds.
Okay.
To wrap up.
Well, Mr. De Beauville, I want to tell you thank you. And I want to thank the affiliates of Central Castries for placing their confidence in me. I want to thank my board, who has worked with me well over the last 18 months. Thank my executive members, Mr. Keith Shalvey, Vice President, the Treasurer, Mr. Patrick Clark, Kevin Arnold, a tremendously talented young man I have a lot of time for. He's our secretary, and the newly elected Barry Charles, who just came on as our Assistant Secretary Treasurer. So, Mr. De Beauville, thank you for the time, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share some of our plans and to solicit support, and also from anyone who's willing to participate in that process.
You very much welcome, Wayne. I really want to wish you well in terms of that discussion we had this evening, in terms of your actual development and going forward.
Thank you.
But this is not the end of the story.
Okay.
The next time I talk to you, you'll be sitting to my right in studio.
Not a problem.
Okay.
Anytime,
I want you to extend my greetings to your family, your wonderful family. And yes, of course, Akim in Grenada. Yes. I wish him well in terms of his cricketing career. And God bless you all tremendously.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Thank you. You as well.
St. Lucia, okay, right. St. Lucia, this program is to transform sports in this country. And the powers that be have to listen to what's happening here. They won't have a choice, so they have to listen. Because when I call someone and for him to explain and discuss how he wants to develop cricket in Castries, the powers that be need to listen and need to come on board and assist those young men and women. Our future rests on their shoulders. This program, Sports Night, Saturday, you're listening nothing yet. Anyway, I want to wish each and every one of you this evening a great evening. Those traveling from near and far, safe journey home. Those going out to celebrate and worship tomorrow, enjoy. And those celebrating birthdays, weddings, whatever it may be, congratulations. And to our brothers and sisters in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, let's keep them in our prayers, because it's not a nice sight in SVG. From me to you, And from my technical people here at UTV, I want to say thank you. See you next Saturday. God's willing. I'm out. Anthony.